I miss most of my kids' important things and, and events. And I only got to see two of my kids, my older ones, graduate from elementary school, high school, or whatever. And so when I was invited to go to my daughter Brianna's 8th grade graduation, I was determined. I got to help my daughter get ready, you know, things that I never got to do with my other ones. And I just want to be able to do that with the rest of them. We moved to Fresno in 2002, I believe it was, and things just went downhill after that. We were fighting a lot, and drugs ended up coming into our lives real heavy.
I met Christine November 27th of 2012. It was the day of move-in. She was very, very happy. She just couldn't believe she had her own place. She was excited and very pleased. And she said she just cried and said she didn't know how to even act.
My lowest point, and since I've been homeless, I would have to say is when my kids told me that they were going to stop seeing me and talking to me because I was doing drugs, and because of what they've seen in the past, you know, with other family members and stuff like that, they didn't want to be any part of it, and they didn't want the little ones to be part of it. So that was their decision. I didn't get to talk to them for a very long time, and I would have to say that was the lowest when my kids stopped wanting to be around me. It motivated me to get some kind of help for myself. And when they told me I was depressed and you know, I had depression, and the best thing for me would be to be able to have the chance to move into an apartment, that helped me get my foot in the door. So it was very exciting for me.
The Housing Authority provides a range of services to families, seniors, people with disabilities, homeless. We start with housing, and at the core of a just society is housing. From that, a resident, whether they're a senior or a parent or a homeless individual, can go out and pursue those activities such as education.
First time I ever came into my apartment, I cried. I just cried. This was all mine. I've never ever had my own apartment. I went from my mom to my first marriage, you know, and I've never had my own place, so that was exciting. Just to be able to know that I'm gonna be warm, you know, I can cook when I want, if I want. I love my apartment. You know, it's mine, you know, and in order to help my sobriety, I have been taking classes. They have relapse prevention, my depression classes, grief and loss, just a bunch of different things.
Christine has grown a lot, like unbelievable. She came in one day saying her goal was to get a job. She's always wanted to be a caregiver. One day she comes in July and says, you know, I want a job, I need a job, Maria. And that morning, I spoke to another individual and I asked her, how would you like to become a care provider here in this complex for one of the other tenants? She met with the gentleman and they agreed on it. And so now today, Christine has a job within Home Support Services.
I got excited when I found out how much I was going to make, how many hours, and you know, the idea that I'm going to be able to hand over my deposit for the apartment and pay my rent, because I do classes. That's part of my little program thing, and that's what pays for my rent right now. But for me to be able to hand that money over and say, here's my rent, is going to make me feel good, because then that's going to make me feel like I stepped up and out of the streets. And I can tell people, you know, that you can do it. You just got to work really hard and have a little faith in yourself.
She is on the road to becoming self-sufficient. She is looking into one day moving out getting her own place. Her kids are very proud of her.
They trust me more. I mean, they would never have left like my grandbaby with me, anything like that, you know, worried about if I was gonna get high and not be able to take care of them. It's just nice that we're able to communicate more. And they are able to call me and ask me, you know, for advice or for help or whatever, and vice versa. We got extremely close. Well, my hope is to be able to move on from here so I can get a house. I don't want an apartment, I want a house so my family can, you know, come and stay and visit, not disturbing the neighbors upstairs or downstairs or whatever, you know, because it's a big family. And just be able to know that they can come and stay whenever they want, you know, that I worked that hard to, because this is a transitional thing for me. And it's working, you know, and I want to be able to keep going with my job. I want to be able to save money for my kids, a car. I would love to drive again. It's been a year since I've driven a car, and just be able to keep going on my own without having to, you know, turn back in any shape or form.